ashes together, went to hell and back, spent the day slaying dragons and escaping traps, but massive damage is done. Now you're really gone. But we'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil is okay. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil is okay. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Thousand years you've been reigning terror, stoking our fears from deep in your lair. We're here to tell you that your time has come. This is our kingdom today.
Who are the fools who would threaten me?
Dragon can fall, we'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall, your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall, you are the beast we're training for.
We are the party who dare threaten
But we'll do our dance at the tavern with the bards who've traveled far, and we'll ask them of the places they've seen. Come away, adventure calls today, and tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain, but before we go, let's drink one more ale. I feel the call of the rover outside, and the glory that soon could be ours. Let's form a team and we'll take to the wild, and we won't burn down the tavern. No, we won't burn down the tavern. No, we won't burn down the tavern. Come away, adventure calls today, and tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain, but before we go, let's dream. But before we go, let's dream. But before we go, let's dream. One more ale.
Oh, that was funny. I'm glad we all had a good laugh. Um, what a great moment that we all got to be a part of there. Happy Tuesday, team. I hope you're all having a fantastic one. I was saying, of course, I love the jams before office hours every time. That's why it takes so long, is I just have to go through all the jams. It turns out when you plug something in, it works. Team, happy Tuesday. Excited you're all here. Excited to do a little office hours, talk about what is in the pipeline, and do any general Q&A. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's see, actually, I'll put chat over here. Yes, Kai, happy Giving Tuesday. Big reminder, our charity event is still up for Illuminative. Which has done gangbusters. Let's go and see how much GMs have raised running games for Illuminative. Go to the homepage, look at learn more. It looks like over $1,100. That's amazing. Awesome. Okay, let's dig into this week's office hours. Remember, if you have a question, use exclamation point or you type question in all caps and then your question so that I can see it in chat. So I want to talk about charging at checkout. Charging at checkout is a really fun problem that we will probably be trying to solve next year. But I kind of wanted to give y'all like some insight into like some of the problems around it. So we know that charging at checkout would help solve a lot of problems, but also create some. For example, if you're going to do a free session 0, charging at checkout for the first game is antithetical to that, right? You know, if it's a free session 0, then why am I being charged for the very first game? But you know, you could then like label it as a deposit, but then it just becomes confusing to the user, right? So when we do charge at checkout, we need to account for free session 0. Other things that we need to account for is if the game just doesn't happen, do we hold that payment in escrow or does it go straight to the GM? Some other things around it is what happens when someone drops out within that time. We just auto refund it. Does it come out from the GM side? Does it come out from like an escrow account? So there's a lot of funkiness to charging at checkout that we need to figure out, and we're going to. But it's not something we can easily just like, we'll just charge at checkout. There's a lot of implications that come along with it. Kyle, what presents, if any, will start playing Have at PAX U? Sorry, Marty said just hopped in. Great. No, we can actually talk about PAX U next because first I just want to talk about charging at checkout and why it's just not an easy thing to do. That doesn't mean we're not going to do it. We're going to. But there's a bunch of implications we need to think around. PAX Unplugged. Yes, I will be at PAX Unplugged in the official capacity as a Start Playing representative. Hunter will be at PAX Unplugged, but Hunter's going for fun. So if you need anything, I'll be at PAX Unplugged. If you're going to be at PAX Unplugged, message me on Discord and let me know that you're going to be there. I would love to say hi. Let's see. Expired listings. Team Expired Listings is going to be going live probably this week. Archiving listings will be going live this week. Be ready for it. What is archived listings? If you have a listing, I think it's 31 days, 32 days, 35 days. I think after 35 days, if your listing has no signups, you will get an email that says, hey, would you like to renew your listing? And you can say yes, and it'll renew for another 35 days. But if you don't hit renew, it'll archive. And it'll essentially just mean like, hey, this is an archived adventure. It's a different status. You have pending, you have active, and you have archived. And the idea of that is because some GMs have games that aren't meant to be active. They kind of forgot about them. They're just sitting in pending, and they're taking up space from GMs who are running active or who are running games, and they didn't forget to like maybe delete an adventure. We've found a few GMs who had it scheduled an adventure and forgot about it. And then they get a sign up and they're like, oh, actually, I'm not running this anymore. And the player's like, that's a bummer. I wanted to play this game. So we're getting rid of that. We're going to measure how successful this feature is in a few ways. One is, does our general conversion rate go up? But another is, does the rate from sign up to charge increase? So when someone signs up for a game, what is the actual rate likelihood that they'll be charged for that paid game as well? Ajax in chat says, good news. I have 7 returning players, 4 new players, 7 one-shot players. Very, very busy, very happy. I love it. So yeah, that's really exciting. The archive adventure tool. You, the GM, will have like a 7-day period to go and renew the adventure. You'll get an email and an on-site notification. So there's plenty of notice that you get to update the adventure. Any questions about that? That'll be launching this week. So if you have questions, let me know in the chat. If not, we'll go ahead and keep moving. I love it. Okay, perfect. Let's talk. We talked about I had a big influx of new players last month. Yes, actually, let's talk about that. We saw the same amount of dip we normally see because of Thanksgiving week, but overall, November was a growth month for us. November usually has an overall dip, but we had more new players join the platform in November than we had any other November in the history of the company. It was around like a 30% higher new player rate join this past November than previous Novembers. Usually October is kind of the height, and then it kind of goes down through December. But we are seeing things kind of continue to grow, which is fantastic. But of course, we saw like generally, sessions not run the week of Thanksgiving because of holiday. But we saw overall growth for GMs and the company. Daniel Hancock's will DMs be able to archive things themselves? An archive button, perhaps. Daniel Hancock's an archive button. I don't know if it's going to be necessary. We are thinking about like GMs being able to like archive an adventure, but the use case isn't clear yet on like what that would do. Right now, it kind of just makes the event. It just it'll delete the adventure once it's archived. It's kind of like a soft delete. And so right now when you delete an adventure, it technically is archived by how our definition of archived is. TJ asks, question. Will that have a potential effect on getting an option to use payouts for other games? TJ, I feel I missed the context of the beginning of this, but are you saying, can I use the money I earn to play in games? And right now we don't have a way to do that, but it is something that we, eventually hope to look and allow GMs to essentially buy credit with Games Run or just kind of transfer that. It's kind of fickle because when you hit payout is when it's considered earned income, and so we have to essentially like find another way to reconcile that with Stripe so that it doesn't screw up anyone's taxes. Because the last thing we want to do is screw up taxes. Bildo, instant payout. Instant payout should be done this week or early next week. Bildo, you hit right on my next talking point here. Yeah, instant payouts should be launching either this week or next week. And of course, we're launching Archive this week. And we also launched category pages this week. Do you guys want to see them? Do you guys want to see category pages? You guys want to see them? You let me know in chat. Or you can do the 100. You could do this one if you want to see it. Bildo wants to see it. Yes. Okay. TJ wants to see it. Okay. It's only 2. We need at least 4 people that want to see it, and then I'll go ahead and show it. Let's go. Okay. All right. I don't know, Devin. Odd scroll. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring it up. All right. Let me go ahead and bring this up. Okay. Here we go. All right. Okay. Let's do Call of Cthulhu. Okay, so here is the Call of Cthulhu landing page. Now, this is the kind of phase 1 of this landing page. And I'm going to talk about the stuff we'll be adding to this and where you're going to kind of see it grow. But it says the details is ideal for 3 to 6 players. Uses the basic role playing system. Of course, we want to figure out a way to not let this be truncated. The themes: cosmic horror, historical mystery, eldritch horror. Publisher Chaosium, current version 7th edition. Release date originally published. Now, we might change current version, or we might just say like version, because we might want to have a page for the 5th edition, 6th edition, etc. Let's see. How to play. We have some rules on how to play Call of Cthulhu. We're just finding creators that we want to highlight. Popular campaigns. So if you want to play Call of Cthulhu, a bunch of games that are running right now of different GMs, and then popular campaigns. We're highlighting some different map makers, some different artists that create art for Call of Cthulhu. Exciting one-shots, and then frequently asked questions. What is Call of Cthulhu about? And these are essentially like what we see when we look at things like Ahrefs, which we can actually do that next. Let's do that. So let's go to like a keyword explorer, right? And we do this. So we look at Call of Cthulhu, we look at like the keywords, the questions most people ask about Call of Cthulhu, and this all helps us figure out like what kind of landing page to make. Now, one of the reasons why we are making these landing pages is, oh, my camera went out. Uh-oh. Well, dang. Hold on. I got this new thing, and I knew it wasn't going to work. All right, cam link. what a shame. Okay, well, right now you can't see me. All right. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to see if I can get this camera to work again. Nope. Oh, what a shame. Yeah, I guess I'll just plug it in, plug it back in. Okay, off and on. And then, does that work? Oh, what a shame. One more thing. Okay, cool. Ah, it worked. Okay. Let me go back here. So, like, the reason why we put certain questions here is because those are often questions that are asked online. The big thing is there is a huge opportunity to get players in all sorts of different games, right? Not just D&D. Using search engine optimization, having a really strong web presence when people are searching for these things. Because right now people might search, I want to play Call of Cthulhu online. Start Playing might not show up. Sometimes we show up, but sometimes it's the game that shows up. But people are looking for how to, ways to play this game. They might not know about Start Playing. This is a great way just to increase the visibility of Start Playing and the other games on Start Playing. So if you're like, I want to play Cyberpunk Red. Well, you might Google that and you might find a Start Playing link before, but now we're really targeting those users with these landing pages to make it as easy as possible to show up for these high-ranking terms to get people interested in these other games. So that's one of the, like the fun reasons why we're doing this. Eventually, you'll see there's going to be a bunch of artwork for all the different classes that you can explore. Links to all the different virtual tabletop, plugins. This is kind of just the beginning. But this is also going to have something really cool that I want to talk about, which was reviews. I think some of you probably remember me talking about this last week. Reviews are going to be really, really interesting because they're going to allow you, the game master, to go to these pages. Say you run Call of Cthulhu and you've run 100 sessions of it on Start Playing. You can go to that page, you can hit Submit Review, and you can review the game system Call of Cthulhu. When people are coming and browsing the site because they're coming to the Call of Cthulhu page because that's how they learn about Start Playing, they can see your review and then they can go and click into your profile and they can see the games you're running. But that's another place where GMs can get visibility to games other than D&D. And it's also, it's going to be really beneficial to D&D and all the different modules because there's going to be landing pages for the different D&D modules, landing pages for different Pathfinder Adventure Pass, and eventually there's going to be different landing pages for a bunch of different games. There, we could do, Call of Cthulhu adventures. We could do different Cyberpunk Red adventures eventually as we grow. But that's a big thing that we are excited about, is to allow for GMs to create these reviews, and players will be able to do it too. And the review will show, hey, this is how many times the player has played this game. So if a player has played Brindlewood Bay 2 times, it'll say, played twice, and then the review. But if a GM has run Brindlewood Bay 50 times, it'll say like, hey, this review is by a GM who's run this game verified 50 times on Start Playing. And we hope that gives a lot of like kind of weight behind the GM's review. So when other people are like reading these reviews, they know like, okay, this person really knows what they're talking about. And hopefully that leads to those people that are discovering these pages wanting to also play with those GMs. Okay. Let's see. Any questions on the landing pages? Any questions on our landing pages? Yes, Wyvern Master. Okay, Wyvern Master, let me know what your question is. DM, Dan, question, how long after systems are released will pages like this be added? I'm thinking of Daggerheart's release in the new year. Great question. It depends on the popularity of the system. It depends on how many people are running it on Start Playing. So something like Daggerheart already has a pretty large player base on Start Playing and or GM base. So we'll probably see something like Daggerheart show up pretty quick. And because we also have a partnership with Darrington Press, or we hope to have a partnership with them. So we're going to see it really early with the different partners we have, because obviously those games end up having a larger presence on the platform. Okay, cool. Review enhancements. Okay, review enhancements. We create the review enhancements that allow... we get some more questions. Bellion, question. Are you consider a homebrew custom game landing page? 90% of players respond that they chose my game because I don't run modules. No, because the modules we're using those specifically because people are searching for them. People are searching for that specific type of module. And so that is why we're kind of creating these landing pages. Homebrew page would be really confusing because we can't accommodate for everyone's homebrew. And everyone's individual homebrew is essentially just their game listing. Bellion, let me know if that makes sense. Simple Fox says, a lot of these new features seem to favor older GMs and lowers the visibility of new GMs trying to build a repertoire. Simple Fox, I'd love to hear more why you think that, because the idea of these landing pages is to expand the visibility of game systems outside of D&D. Now, the ability to leave reviews, I can definitely see how that definitely favors gyms who are running many sessions of them. But if you think about the actual volume of reviews that will exist, I don't really think that's really the case. Because the kind of core function of this is increase that visibility of other systems outside of D&D so that they can also have a high visibility. And if you look at these landing pages, all of these games that exist here are GMs of any level. You can see this person has 5 stars, this person has 6, this person has 5. So this doesn't really favor just full-time or long-time GMs. Let's go to Chris's question. Would there be any pipeline for DMs to submit landing page copy for lesser used systems? Chris Wicker. So we will only probably be making these for games that have sessions being run of them. So we don't have a number yet of what that critical mass is. But we want it so that when someone comes here, there's a collection of games they can pick from, not just 1 or 2. What the future has in store, who knows? We might expand that into being once we have 6 people running sessions, we'll create a landing page around it. But right now, there is 750 game systems being run on the platform. We want to start with the most and kind of continue down from there. But who knows? Chris Wicker, what game system are you curious about? Because maybe it's not even a lesser used system. I'm kind of curious on what game you're thinking of. Okay. Category pages, starter set. Let's see. I'm gonna wait to see if Chris has an answer. And then we'll talk about starter set next. Star Wars D6, for example. Star Wars D6 is probably going to make it in the first 100 of systems because Star Wars D6 is pretty popular on the platform. It's in the top 100. So that will probably get its system. Follow-up, Bellion. Yep, that makes sense. I just meant that there's a type of player who's specifically searching for custom homebrew games. I just wonder if there's consideration for helping that with search. There probably will be. We haven't heard from players that they're having trouble finding that. But I think also because GMs can put homebrew as part of one of the systems that players are using that to find them already. But if we continue to find players that are like, hey, that's not enough, we'll definitely try to find a way to make that easier. Expect Dead of Night to be far down the list. Dead of Night. I wonder what. Let's go and see how many games are being run of Dead of Night right now. Game Dead of Night. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Dead of Night probably isn't going to get a landing page anytime soon. For now, that obviously will change, especially when we partner with different publishers. Okay. So that's category pages. Starter set. GM Chris question: any change in the works for the default order of Game Master reviews on the GM profile page? I love my players, but a seat filler popped a review and I lost my 6 verified reviews. GM Chris, great question. I was going to talk about the review enhancements, and so we can actually talk about that right now. So if we go here, we click on GM Patrick. And we go to show all 43 reviews. You'll notice that we have the search bar and we have the sort. The search bar and the sort aren't getting a ton of use. But we also think that maybe moving it outside of this module and moving it to this section will probably help with that. So that's something that we're probably going to be exploring next, because we haven't seen a ton of use on the sort here, even though players specifically said, I would love to see more sorting. So we can see least recent, most sessions, etc. So I can see all the reviews, and I can see lowest rated, which doesn't really count because it just shows the unverified first, and then it goes by time because GM Patrick has all 5 stars. But also here, rule of cool, I can search there and I can find anyone who's ever, said rule of cool. I could also say, let's see, what's another fun thing we can, voices. Here we go. And I can learn, all about the voices and what Laura said. So we're thinking about moving this out of the module and into here, but we need to do a little more digging first. We might do it when we redesign the game listing page, this page, because we're going to be redesigning this page as is, and so we might do them together or we might not. Let's see. We got another question here. Question: sorry if I missed this, but could you start implementing as a subsystem of 5e like how you can specific adventures, successful third-party content like Ryoka's Guide, Fate Forge? Andrea, could you rephrase that question? I don't think I quite understand. Okay. So that's where we are with the current review enhancements. We're going to try to see if we can get them, if they're being less used because they're sitting in the module, which we kind of think it is, or if players are just not as interested in using them, then we'll probably have a default. We'll have a test to see which of the sorts converts the highest. Okay, starter set. Starter set's doing well. We're going to stop running starter set probably around the end of December. We're going to take it down. We're going to rebuild it to make it long-term. Right now, we just kind of built it to get out the door, but we want to make it like a long-term product. We're doing a test right now where you don't pick a GM. You just get auto-applied a GM. Half of users are going through that, and the other half the other way. We need to see if people experiencing that is actually converting higher. We don't have enough data on it yet, but we'll kind of figure out does the select the GM step increase your conversion, or does it decrease it? And we'll figure that out soon. Let's see. Starter set's doing good. Let's see what else we got. Instant payouts. New webinars are coming up. Okay. Oh, Andrea says, so right now you can list your game under specific official 5e content, but only WotC content, as far as I know. Plan on expanding that to non-WotC 5e settings. Yes, as we see more of them run and we partner with more publishers, we will definitely be doing that. So we'll probably see something with Kobold Press or the official D&D Beyond third-party folks first, and then we'll kind of continue to expand as we see more interest in those showing up. Okay. And I talked last time about the homepage, the games page, the profile page, all that's being revamped. I think that's kind of the big ticket stuff I wanted to talk about today. Remember, archiving is coming this week. Category page is already launched. And instant payouts is coming this week or early next week. Chris Wicker, is there a date when we can see starter set access expanded? Probably expanding in January. We're gonna do another test where we make it so you can access it not just from ads but also from the site, and we're gonna see how that does. And if we see like critical mass, or we see that there's more opportunity, we're gonna start opening up to more and more GMs. Okay, so I think I talked to you about some of the stuff we're working on. We're working on the ability to leave reviews on these category pages. We're exploring the scope on the project of allowing GMs to increase their the cost of the seat in the game to players who are already signed up. And if if that's doable, so we're looking at some stuff on Stripe and how we would go about that. So we're doing like an exploratory thing, but that would allow you, the GM, to say like, hey, my game's at $20, I'm going to change it to 25, and the player can accept or deny the new higher rate. And then it's gonna be Christmas, and then we'll be in the new year. January is always a great month. We always see tons of new players come in January. It's always a boon month, but usually December's a down month, but November's usually a down month, and we didn't see the downtick that we normally do. So hopefully we see December with the same level of growth, and we think starter set is a big part of that, because all the starter set marketing, all the starter set promo and campaign has generally lifted the site across the board, not just with D&D newbies. We've seen the same amount of split we have between people who are coming for like D&D and other games, but just an increase overall. So if you have, let's say you have normally 100 people coming and joining a game a day, and 40% of those people are playing other games, you see that kind of same rise across the board, even though the targeting is hyper specific to D&D. Ajax question: when will starter set be expanded? Could you please use normal VTTs? Maps is awful. Ajax DM, that depends on the partnerships, because it's heavily going to rely on the different partners we have with VTTs that are also going to be leveraging this with their audience. So that's a big factor. But it would be great to see that with Roll20 and Foundry and all these partners. Just a question. So after December, we'll no longer be able to schedule starter set games. Faux Phoenix, we'll have an official stop date, but essentially we have to go in, we have to rebuild starter set. Right now, starter set is built in a very temporary way. And so we'll go ahead and we'll just be retooling starter set. It'll probably take us a week or two to go ahead and rebuild it, but there'll be messaging around that. Can a player leave an additional review for a GM if they play a new system with them? Andrew Popovich, a player can leave as many reviews for the GM as they want, except any new review replaces the old review. It's a one-to-one reviews for players and GMs, or for players to GMs. Good question, Stay Team. Let's see. Anything else? Probably shouldn't show my credit card on live on stream. Can a player leave an additional review? Oh, we just answered that one. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Is that it? Do we get to the end? I feel like it's too quiet now. I gotta have like some background music. So is there anything else? Simple Fox, my best friend gave me a 4-star review because all my 5-star reviews made it look fake as fuck, laughing my ass off. Questions, anything you can tease for the new year? Yeah, we're probably going to be sometime in 2026, we're going to be doing a big push into kids games, which will be kind of like a separate part of the site, but there's a lot of compliance involved in that. Y'all, like, we're talking like the amount of money we have to pay for lawyers for some stuff is like, it's cool because like we don't have to worry about liability. I'll tell you what though. I'm glad they're on our side. Oh yeah, not 2020. I mean 2025. God, I'm already living in 2025. No, sorry, I don't mean 2026. So yeah, in 2025, we're going to be doing some stuff around kids games. But already there's so much stuff that we do for liability with our lawyers, and this is just like a huge version of the level of compliance that we'll have to adhere to, and the stuff we'll have to roll out. So that'll be a really big project, but that's going to be great for a lot of GMs. Of course, we're still looking into do like local currency, so you can charge in your local currency, get paid in your local currency. Looking at some translation stuff as we expand. Hopefully, we're going to double down on our SEO efforts if we see them work. We might expand the starter sets to different systems, things like Daggerheart. Or other new systems that come out. Also be really good for events. And we want to expand some of the search tools. We want to start having category searches so people can search by like indie games. People can search, essentially have like kind of keyed searches when people come to the site. Recommendations, notifications on when you're following and faving things, being able to follow a game and get notifications when new games show up. There's a lot of fun stuff we have in the pipeline for 2025. I'm pumped about it. Ajax, how is the social thing going? The social thing hasn't kicked off 100%, but some people here know I am doing a social media mastermind with a number of GMs who've decided to opt into it. That's what the last live stream here was about. I was just kind of giving tips and tricks around it, but there's going to be feedback. It's going to be kind of like a month-long program. And that's going pretty well. I think we have 7 GMs who were officially able to submit the requirements to get into that. And then what I'm going to do afterwards is I'm going to see how those GMs do in signups, revenue, retention, all of those fancy numbers, and see what they do against like a standard cohort of folks who didn't take the mastermind, and see if it actually impacted their business. Given January tends to draw more new players in, is there a more aggressive advertising campaign to try and draw in even more potentials? Jersey Ray, we've actually been pretty aggressive since November with Starter Set, and we're probably going to continue that. We've seen some good growth out of it. We've I think like 40 creators last month that we worked with for like organic stuff as well, but then we use all the organic stuff in ads. So we're probably going to continue as we have been. It's kind of insane, the Starter Set, the spend that we've been doing. But like I said, it's kind of generally lifted the entire platform. Shitness, yes, this is, of course, talking about the liability stuff and what it costs in lawyers. Yes, but making the site as safe as possible is a winning proposition. Absolutely. There's so much that goes into, even when we're not running games for kids, even when we just are the site as is, there's just so much compliance stuff that you don't really think about when you're starting a business, because sometimes you're so small, like it doesn't matter, right? It's not gonna affect the business that much. But when you get to a certain size, you have to make sure that like there's no liability on your on the platform, so that like everyone can continue to be able to do this. Ajax would like to see tax collection for international. We don't collect taxes for the U.S. We don't collect taxes for anyone. But Ajax, what you should look at is, if you're trying to figure out how to do your taxes, there's a bunch of software as a service tools that do automated banking, bank automation. So you can have a separate bank account or a savings account or something like that, that when you get a deposit from X place, it'll go ahead and take X amount and put it into a different bank account. That's what I would recommend if you're trying to put money aside for taxes. Do you have any analytics from the Seat Filler program? How's that been working out? It's been okay. I don't have any analytics specifically on like the folks who we've been adding to games to help us make sure like all the Starter Set games fire. Jason says, are submissions closed now? Submissions for what? Let me know. Let's see. Any word on when we get rewards for the membership event? What membership event are you talking about, Jacob? Membership event. You can still submit for the social program. Yes, you have till Thursday, till end of day. Till Thursday morning, because I'm going to do another live stream on Thursday. I should put that in there. But the live stream, I'm just going to be able to interacting with the people that have participated. And I'll probably put a little like warning, like, hey, do you mind, are you okay if I use your footage for feedback? the mothership event. Yes, Sarah reached out to them. I was CC'd on the email. You know, I think they're gonna let us know when GMs have their credit that they can go and use. GM Blog, yes, it is in Discord. It's under someone can, I forget what it's under, GM Help or GM Chat, something like that. Ajax, to clarify, I meant sales tax, but not interesting idea. You suggest Evan will look into it. I don't think we don't have to collect sales tax from Canadian citizens because we are a U.S. company, so we don't have to charge Canadian tax, and you don't either. But again, I'm not a tax professional. GM Help, pinned comment. Perfect. Thank you so much. Pin post, that's right. Anything else that's really interesting in here? We are thinking about exposing a data point to GMs about your own reliability rating. We don't think we're going to show this to players because like it's so amorphous. It can sway dramatically, but we felt it'd be good for just GMs to kind of like see like where they sit as far as reliability. Like, are you in the top 70%, top 80%, top 90% of reliability? Most people are. The people who are like in the 60 and bottom usually don't stay on the site very long. Reliability is like, I'm going to run a game and the game actually runs, an active game, not a pending game. But that's kind of a cool, something that we might look forward to in the future. Reliability is like, I schedule a game, I'm going to run that game. A charge happens. Reliability is also like the when a game is canceled. If a game is canceled last minute a lot, it kind of shows that trend. So everything's kind of scored. But I don't think we're not thinking about that as like a public metric. We're thinking about that as like a percentage metric to show GMs like where you sit. And then if people are like in the top 80 or something, we might like say like, give like a top GM badge or something like that would be kind of cool. We haven't thought through it too much. But one of the ways we are able to find when people disintermediate or when they break our terms of service is because the reliability rating dramatically shoots down, and that's one of the ways that we're able to look at this. And we thought, but this also can help GMs a lot to like see like, hey, I'm really reliable. Like most of the GMs here that are on this call are probably like some of the most reliable GMs on the platform. DM, Dan, can we expect a Monster Manual release event? There is you could probably expect that we're going to do something with Wizard of the Coast for Monster, for the Monster Manual. Yeah. Andrea, does it only count games that are ready to start with enough players signed up? Anything that would be considered, are you being reliable? If you have a game that has a scheduled start time, and that game doesn't happen, that's unreliable. If you are in a pending status, right, and you're still collecting players and the game doesn't happen the next week, well, your game wasn't scheduled for next week because it's still in pending. So that's not unreliable, and that's also setting the expectation of the player. Would there be a note for GMs while it's private to keep it off their profiles since I could foresee? I don't think we're going to put this on the profiles. This is going to be just something that the GM will have on the back end just for themselves. Oh yeah, putting their okay, people might screenshot it and share it. Yeah, absolutely. But I think we want to find a way, like, it's also, we have to wait and really figure out, because we've tested a little bit where we've interviewed GMs that have like bad reliability ratings. And sometimes it's like, oh, they got sick this week. And it's like, okay, so we need to look at like a longer form of data. Like, okay, let's look at 2 months of data, or let's look at this. And so we've been like toying with it, tweaking it more and more and more to make it have a more realistic number that it accounts for also like site-wide, because no one is 100% reliable, right? Like, we're humans, right? So, but nobody should, shoot for a score that says 100% reliable, because that's unrealistic. So we also don't want to advertise like this GM's 100% reliable, because that also misses the expectation of a player. If like you do get sick and you skip that game, the players would be like, well, there's a 100% reliable person, because we set the wrong expectation. So, that's why we don't want to show that public to players. But I do think showing it to GMs so you can see that go up as you run more games or as things fire better would be cool. Because that's also like a metric that we have that once we have more faith in it, we feel good about showing it to GMs. Dragon Master Roy. Question, and then there's nothing. But I think there's a question coming. I'm ready. Webinars. When will they be announced? Probably sometime this week. They'll be announced. Dragon Master Roy. Team, we got 5 minutes left of our time together. If you have any more questions, I'm happy to spend the time. Talk about webinars. Talking about, let's see. Did I miss any questions? Oh yeah. Tendency to do things like test forms, other site functions just ahead of the curve, etc. So I can totally see someone typing out the reliability in their profile. Yeah, and that's no difference. You can say that right now if you want, like, hey, I'm 100% reliable. But a lot of what people glean as reliability comes from the reviews. Andrea, question request. Could you purchase more modern non-zombie related backgrounds for the Google Drive folder? I struggle to find stuff for my Outgun game. Every year we try to do another one. Next year we're definitely going to do another pass to see if we can find more licensed art. So yeah, if I'll keep in mind when we're looking to make sure we find good dystopian zombie stuff. Big fucking sword. I kind of done the math on my own reliability. It's around 2 to 3% of games not happening, and most of that is due to players being unavailable versus myself. Which is a great point. Remember when I said there's no such thing as 100%, so you have to think about what's the top GM. So you look at the top GM's reliability, and you look to see okay, a full-time GM is this reliable, part-time GM is this reliable, and you're able to kind of know who's incredibly reliable and who's not, because someone oh, my players are always canceling, but are they canceling at a higher rate than other GMs, right? It's just good for you to know, okay, well, maybe I want to find a way to make the game more engaging for them, so they are they're less likely to cancel, things like that. But it's also releasing it and seeing how GMs use it and how they react to it is also give a lot of insight too on measuring that. It's really hard to make individual metrics, and right now it would be impossible to do click-through view impressions of people's games. It would just, with the infrastructure that requires, the maintenance it requires, and our team size, it's impossible. We could, but that's the only thing we'd be building. We wouldn't be building anything else. We'd be spending so much time maintaining it. Eventually, we will be big enough that we can have individual metrics for every GM. You'll be able to see oh, this is my click-through, this is my impression, this is my conversion rate. Eventually, we'll have something like that. But we have to get big enough. Okay, is there anything else I have that's interesting? Anything? Oh, yeah. You guys want to see something cool? I have a video I could show you of the new starter set ad. That's pretty fun. I'll go ahead and show you.
So you want to play Dungeons & Dragons, but you got no idea where to start. None of your friends want to play, and the 1,000+ pages of rules are overwhelming. Okay, so maybe it's not that big, but it feels like it, and joining an established group of experienced players can feel intimidating, especially when you're the newbie. At StartPlaying.com, we make it easy to find a beginner-friendly D&D game. We've already helped over 70,000 players find their perfect game. Just take our Learn to Play D&D quiz, answer a few quick questions, and we'll match you with a professional dungeon master and other new players, so everyone feels comfortable learning together. We've handpicked the best dungeon masters, all of whom are great at teaching first-timers. No need to worry about creating a character. Our expert dungeon masters will provide pre-made characters for you to choose from, allowing you to start playing right away without needing to study a ton of rules first. Like I have time for that. I'm already swamped with TPS reports. I have to watch the 7,000 TikToks my wife sent me, and my check engine light is on. I don't even own a car! And don't worry, although the characters are pre-made, you get to bring the life into them. Maybe they're looking to avenge their parents or save their town, or maybe they're just you, but with a cool axe that lights on fire named, Shadowbringer. Friggin' sick axe named Shadowbringer. All games are played on Discord, and all you need is a mic, an internet connection, and the bravery of a fighter, the spirit of a wizard, the heart of a hero, and a computer. Yeah, you'll be needing a computer, maybe some snacks. The adventure is like a movie, running around 2 hours and costing about the same, except this time, you're the hero. Once you sign up, your dungeon master will take care of the rest, from pre-made characters to virtual dice. However, remain ever vigilant. The life of an adventurer is no simple journey. It is a test of fire and will. Danger looms like a gathering storm. Dragon's fire fills every room, and every gain of power invites the looking dagger. Let your resolve be your shield, heart ablaze and spirit yielding, and may you be the path of light. And also check your email. That will have everything, like the details you need, and the email. Consider that your call to adventure, pal. Take the quiz now and start playing today.
Oh, I was watching it on the live stream and I forgot that there's a delay. That's so funny. I'm like reading your comments and I forgot that the video is already, there's a latency. That's so funny. So now I'm about to watch myself just be completely like just watching the... yeah, so I hope you guys like that. The editor's with it right now. They're doing some really good stuff with it. It should be rocked out pretty soon. Jacob Jordan, that was unhinged. Thank you. Love it. Tested well with the focus groups. Yeah, so we'll have that running probably end of this week, next week. So that'll be a fun new campaign. Andrea, yeah, if you're running a starter set game, but you might not have access to starter set games. Those are by approval only right now, which is that separate project. Plenty of folks use Zoom or Microsoft Teams. That's true. Unhinged ads are great. Jersey Dragon. Okay, team. I think that's it. That's our time. I will see you all in the Discord. I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. And happy gaming. Bye, team.
We've come on down to the tavern for trouble and for fun, and to talk about the old prophecy. And we all sing songs at the tavern of the fights that we have won, and we dream about our next victory. Come away, adventure calls today, and tomorrow we'll tell of our tale. Come away, we'll see that dragon slain, but before we go, let's drink one more ale. Well, we won't burn down the town.
world will tell